Hey everybody, welcome back to Out of the Ordinary with Jay. And today I'm with
Nicci.
And Nicci, I like to put my videos in context. So can you tell me your age?
I just turned 50.
Wow, congratulations. You look great for 50.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
Sholo, Arizona, small little town.
Sholo, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah. Northeast.
Small town, like how small?
Well, I've been away for 15 years, but I don't know the population.
Not too big? Like 2,000 or like 20,000?
No, 20,000.
Okay. What do you do for work? Are you still working?
I am.
What do you do?
I work at a golf course. I do accounts payables, accounts receivables.
Okay.
A little bit of marketing. I help with wedding planning.
Oh, this cat's trying to say hi to me.
Ooh,
so that's perfect. Hi, cat. Okay, so I'm going to give you kind of my top few questions that I love to ask people.
Okay.
What are your, this is perfect, by the way, because you just said that you're 50 years old. What are your thoughts on aging? And like things like aging gracefully, fighting it, the perfect age, health, happiness. Like, just give me your thoughts on aging generally.
Well, I'm not fighting it because I think the cliche, you get wiser as you get older.
Okay.
Definitely gotten wiser.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely gotten wiser. I am fighting the wrinkles. I'm a girl. I'm an esthetician. So I work on wrinkles and the face and yeah. So I am fighting, and my body, you know, working out, running 5Ks.
You run 5Ks?
Only in the cool months.
Okay. Like how many have you run?
So I usually about 6 in the cool months.
No, you run like 6 in the cool.
October, November.
So how many have you run
December,
total?
January. 2 years worth.
Oh, wow.
Probably, yeah.
So a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you like that you're wiser. The wrinkles suck, but you're fighting those back with being an esthetician. Is that kind of the deal? And you're helping other people with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay, so how has it been though? Like what's the best age, would you say? If you had to guess. Is it right now? Is it?
Yes, but I mean, I don't know. I definitely in my 30s was really good too.
Okay.
And then 40s, I kind of reinvented myself, kind of started back over a little bit, kind of went through a divorce. So anyway, so I started over and I'm back to, doing great.
So when did you start doing the 5Ks?
About 2.5 years ago, my oldest daughter invited me to one, and I just wanted to see if I could do it.
And when did you start working at the golf course?
3 years ago. Okay,
so you kind of reinvented yourself again like 3 years ago. It sounds like a little bit.
I guess so.
I mean, if you started getting fit and running 5Ks and stuff, I mean, that's
true.
I don't know.
That's true.
So what do you say to people that are like around your age that are not so enthused with the aging process? Let's put it that way. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, there's nothing they can do about it.
Right. It's better than the alternative.
Hopefully they're in a state of mind where they can look back and think. Hopefully they're better off than where they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I know, unfortunately, some people might not be.
So did you just attitude-wise, like say your 50th birthday, were you like, oh, I can't believe I'm 50. This is the worst. Or were you like, sweet, I made it to 50? Like, where were you in that spectrum? Because a lot of people have a hard time with, the decades, 30, 40, 50.
And I did, each decade I did. I don't like saying it.
Yeah.
Because when I say it, I don't see it and I don't feel it.
Yeah, so, I hear that a lot.
You know what I mean? Because I'm 50 and I'm like, wait, who's 50?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I've talked with a number of people that they'll say something like the mirror does not reflect how they feel at all.
Or my inside.
You know what I mean? Like they're like, who's that?
Yeah.
Is kind of the thing. Yeah. So I don't know. I do feel like the decade, when it lands on a decade, it seems like it's harder for most people.
It's tough to adjust to the thought of it, but not, I don't know. I didn't have to adjust to being 50. I just had to adjust to saying I'm 50.
Well, one of the other things that I've told people that have been older, even, older than 50, like older, is I always say, because I interviewed this guy not that long ago. I forget how old he was exactly, but he's in his 60s. And he was just in phenomenal shape. I mean, he's talking to me, and every time he moves his arm, I see his bicep. You know what I mean? I'm like, I feel like, and I've always felt this way, that age is all relative, because I guarantee you I can find you some people in their late 20s and early 30s sitting in a cubicle eating 10 tons of donuts.
Right.
They've got really bad health problems.
Right.
They're a mess in almost every capacity, at least physically. And then I can find this 60-year-old who he would run laps around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then I say to myself, I'm like, well, except for the receding hairline, who's older?
Right.
Right. Really, in terms of actual biology,
I think how through the generations, though, the age process has changed too.
What do you mean by that?
So, take the show The Golden Girls.
Okay.
They were in their 50s. They were portraying, not the oldest one.
Wow.
But yeah, they were portraying that they were in their 50s, like Rose, and
that's
then,
wild.
And then you look at it and you're like, what?
So yeah, you can go back and you can look at some of the older movies, sort of the classics, and you're like, the dude looks all old, and he's like 32.
Right.
That's like he's 100.
That's
like, whoa.
I'm like,
what's up with that?
It's changed.
Yeah. So on aging, let me ask you this. Let's say hypothetically I showed up today and I brought you this, I don't know, let's think of a color. Orange. I bring you this orange pill. It's the only orange pill in the whole world. And if you take it, you are granted immortality from this moment on. You'll be this age and of this type for forever. You won't age anymore. Everybody else you will, though. No, though, will. Everybody else in the world will. Would you take that pill?
No.
You would not. How come?
Because I want to grow with my family, and
you don't want to stand around and make fun of them as they age, and
I don't want to. I don't want to have them pass me by and leave. I'd rather just take its natural process, like when I lost my grandparents.
Right. So, you want the normal course of action. Yeah. Gotcha. So you would not take it.
No.
Okay.
No. Would you?
Ooh, nobody's ever really asked me.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would.
You would.
I totally would.
I know.
And I'll give you somebody gave me a really great answer to this, because somebody said they gave the similar argument to you. They're like, I don't want to outlive my family and all my friends, and I won't know anybody. But he made a sort of a contrarian argument. He said, well, he's like, all of those offspring, you'll actually have more relatives, more and more relatives, and you'll be wiser and wiser, and you'll know everybody, and there will always be it'll be sad,
the storyteller.
But you'll know you'll always have. Anyways, it was kind of an interesting thing. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay, let's go the other way.
Okay.
What if you found out today, instead I show up with a piece of paper and it says, I'm the Grim Reaper showing up, and I'm like, hey, you have exactly 1 year to live. 365 days from this moment on. What would you do if you found out you had 1 year to live?
I'm not the girl that would take a trip, right? Like, oh, I've never been to Italy, so I got to go to Italy. It would be more family, dinners, time, more time spent with my family and loved ones and friends.
So probably more of the same, but you probably ixnay the job and use that time for.
Yeah, I would ixnay the job.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I found most people are answering not too dissimilar from that, Okay, but what about on day 365? Would you bungee jump or something?
No.
No, nothing?
No.
Okay.
Just in case I got that day 3.
No, it's all happening on day 365 in this hypothetical.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, fine. Okay. If you could travel back in time, what would you change? And by the way, on any of these, you can pass or say not interested, or I don't have an answer, or whatever.
Yeah, I might not have an answer, because I don't know that I would change too much.
Yeah.
Because whether it was relationships, it got me either my children or my best friends out of it, or
you're here.
So there's not too much I think I would change. So what was the question?
If you could travel back in time, what would you change?
So I wouldn't change too much, except maybe some of the knowledge I have now. If I could take it with me, that would be fun.
Ooh, I don't know. I've never thought about that. I don't know if I've ever
Marty McFly, right? And the book of all the betting, and he knew all the answers.
Right. So you'd go back in time. Someone else told me this too. They said they'd go back in time to like the early 80s and buy Apple.
Right.
So
something
I get
like that. Yeah. But other than that, the course of who I met and where I worked, or I'm good. I'm happy with all of that.
Okay, so not much then, or nothing, not really.
No,
okay,
I'm pretty boring.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, that's going to be the quote. I'm pretty boring. I'm going to use that. Okay,
that should be a title of my book.
That would be a good title for a book, actually.
My book.
Of your book? Yeah, that would be good.
Because people
would think that somebody ghost wrote it for you. Or, nobody. Yeah. Okay, so to you, what is the purpose of life? Do you have a guiding principle or anything like that? I know there's a couple of these are some big questions.
I know. Goodness.
Is there a meaning to life? Do you have a purpose? Is there a purpose?
I don't know, because I feel like everyone has a purpose. Do we know it? We might not know it, but maybe our purpose was for someone else, like our kids.
Well, certainly family is a big one for you.
My family, yeah. That might be my purpose.
Because like some people when they're younger, they're just, I consider them some of the luckiest people on the planet, but they'll know like, I'm going to be a doctor or whatever. Right. And like they feel like that's their purpose, or I'm going to be an astronaut or whatever. And then they do it. I know. Well, oftentimes they go and get educated in that, and then they end up being a realtor or something else. You know what I mean? It's like, but I don't, purpose of life is always a tricky one. You know what I mean?
I think it depends on your age when you're asked that question.
That's true. But there's like a million books written on it. So it's like, it's like everybody's trying to figure it out. Anyway.
Yeah. Depending on, I guess, how old was that person that wrote the book? Were they in their 20s? Were they in their 50s? Who were they asking?
That's true. The purpose of life when you're
in your 20s,
18 is much different than when you're
50,
35 or 50 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is something a person can do to stay healthy?
Mentally or physically?
Both. Let's go with both.
Well, moving, right?
Moving. Okay.
Constant moving, the brain and your body.
Okay. So what do you mean by my brain constantly moving?
Learning something new every day, even at 50 years old. That cliche is so true and relevant. Do you learn something new every day?
Well,
whether you read
I'm
it
sure that I know that I do.
Or someone else's opinion, that's still something new. Yeah. Even if it's not your opinion, it's something to listen to. A book, audio, podcast, listen to someone else's opinion.
Sorry, when you said this is an interesting answer because I got distracted by a joke in my head. Okay. And it was basically, that'd be kind of, I guess if you have dementia, everything's new. You're like every day you wake up, like I learned something new again. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know.
Yeah. So
maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not all bad. I don't know.
Food, okay. Tasting food. Running, walking.
Languages, learning to play an instrument. Blah blah blah. Right. Okay.
Anything.
So what do you do? What is something you do to stay healthy? You said the 5Ks.
Yep, I do 5Ks. I work out in my closet in the mornings.
Is that so nobody will see you?
No.
Or
it's the only time I find, and I don't belong to a gym. I don't want to really belong to a gym. I have a pull-up bar. I have a Pilates machine in my closet. So I find it when
must
I wake
be a big
up,
closet.
It is.
Wow.
So when I wake up in the morning, I just go straight there and just, like wake my brain up, I guess.
Wow.
And then also on my drive to work, I only work 3 days a week, but on my drive to work, I listen to a podcast. So that's for mental, I guess.
Okay. And okay. What kind of podcast?
Different ones.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Sometimes funny.
Okay.
Like I really like Bunny XO, Jelly Roll's wife.
Okay.
She's really
pretty good.
Inspiring. She's pretty forward. She's pretty funny.
Okay.
She's pretty lets it all out there.
Sounds like you might relate to this person a little bit.
A lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I like inspirational, like the theory. What is that? The Let Them Theory book. I don't know. Just sometimes I like funny. Sometimes it depends on my mood. Okay. Fridays I tend to just listen to music.
So can I tell you with my problem with podcasts? Everybody I know listens to them, right? And I don't want to annoy my audience if you're listening to this as a podcast, except for this one. This one's friggin' awesome. But is like, because I tried to do it when I was like, going out for a walk or a run or biking or whatever. but it's like taking away from the moment. Like I'm not hearing the birds. I'm not focused on what I'm doing. Now I'm in two worlds at once. And I feel like my whole life is multitasking, and I hate that.
It was for me too.
So that's my only gripe against it.
I only do it in the car. It keeps me from
yelling at people.
Yeah, not getting irritated with traffic or slow drivers. So I just do it in the car. Okay. I tried to do it in the house while I was cleaning, but I wanted to focus on my my brain was going, and then I was thinking about what I needed to clean next. I'm like, oh, I missed what they said. Yeah, I think
I would. I think if I had like a long commute or something like that, that would probably make more sense.
I have a 30-minute commute, so it's perfect.
Okay. I feel like this is kind of a duplicitous question, but I have it on here, so I'm going to ask anyways. It says, what is the key to having a good life? You have anything on there that we didn't cover?
Not really. All cliches apply to me,
all cliches apply to you?
Most.
Let me think of a couple.
No,
I don't know. Just kidding.
I'm all dude. I do. I love to live by cliches, and now of course I can't think.
That's okay. I can't either. I know. I can't either. But it's gone.
Yeah, but they're just. What was the question again?
Key to having a good life.
Oh yeah, just a happy wife is a happy life. There's a cliche.
Is your wife happy?
I don't have a wife.
Oh, okay.
But my husband's wife.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got that wrong.
Is
Sorry.
Happy.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Do you have so? The reason why I asked this question is because, we're having a good time here, but life is not always easy.
No.
Life is often very hard. I'm sure you've had moments in your life where you were like,
absolutely,
damn, this is really challenging to say the least. Maybe breakdowns and all kinds of things.
Sure.
And I guess
had those too.
Right. So do you have any tips for someone to have a little bit easier go of it? This thing we call life. It's not always easy.
Cliche, tomorrow it will be a new day.
Yeah.
I always have to tell myself that during hard times. Tomorrow's a new day.
Here's a cliche for you, or a little saying anyways that you'll like that pertains to this.
Okay.
I'm going to get it totally wrong, and I don't even remember who said it, but they said, the past is history, the future's a mystery, and that's why the present is a gift. And I just love that. I think that's beautiful.
It's true. You have to live in the moment.
But it's super challenging.
Sometimes those moments can be hard moments.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes those. So my daughter, who is going to be 27 next month, she just got diagnosed with chronic kidney disease.
The one I just met.
Stage 4. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so,
at 27. That's bullshit.
I know. Yeah, she was having some heart palpitations, and so she went in, and when they checked her blood pressure, she had 200 over 150 blood pressure.
That seems very high.
So she's forever on blood pressure medication, and now she's on forever kidney medication. There will end up being a kidney transplant, but that's much longer down the road. Dialysis possibly for a short time, but because she's young, that'll help.
How old is she?
She's 26.
Oh, by the time she needs a new kidney, they'll just print one off her printer.
Right?
She'll go online and
but my point of bringing her up was just that she lives in the moment, right? Yeah. She lives day to day. And every day people ask, "How are you doing?"
I was going to ask, how did she handle the news?
Right.
How did she handle it?
She was devastated
at first, probably.
But now she knows this is my new life. She adjusted her diet. She works out every day now. She does yoga. She does what she can. But she's getting to the point where it's almost, people are, "How are you doing today?" And she's like, "I'm fine." I'm fine until you see me go like this.
How are you doing today? A little annoyed at the moment, but other than that.
Right, exactly. She's kind of like, I'm fine. I'm not coughing. I'm not, she's fine. So it's hard for her to understand that people are just so sympathetic to her. She's like, but I'm not a charity case either. Because I always call her my little charity case.
Oh, I'm sure that's a cute name. I like that.
Yeah. So she lives day to day, live in the moment.
Okay, so that's the tip for someone to have a bit of an easier time at life. It'd be
and I know it's not always easy, and it's easy to say.
Well, particularly if the moment you're in right at the moment sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tell my dog to be quiet.
Like if you're in a moment that's terrible, who wants to live in that moment?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, I'll take the future as a mystery at this point.
Or if someone tells you that, you're going to tell them to F off.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Live in the moment, excuse me.
Yeah,
I'll be right back. All right. Ooh, this is a challenging question. Take your time with it. I know. This one's a good one though. But how can you be kind to people that are doing things that harm themselves? Let me give you an example. Let's just use your daughter for a minute. Let's say she got that diagnosis, right? But instead of trying to get in shape and modify her diet and stuff, she kept eating the same stuff that was harming her and whatever. And then she was like complaining about being sick all the time, but she's still doing all the things. She's made no adjustments. Like, how would you reconcile that? Like, how do you deal with, you know what I mean? It's a tough call because there's plenty of people that,
but that question also, if you took the equation of, if you took my daughter out of that, and I'd be saying to a friend. So, because with my daughter, I'd be like, you know,
right. Totally, you could make her do something, or you could be highly influential. Right, I understand.
At the house, I would change every
Say
food.
somebody else has a similar condition, and my hypothetical will be different. Similar diagnosis as your daughter, but they decided to do it completely differently in a way that was continuing to harm themselves.
So not being my daughter, you can't tell them what to do, right? But you can be there. You can give, you know, you can be a sympathetic shoulder. You can give advice.
But how is it being sympathetic if they're doing? Let's say we're at dinner. I'm this other person, and I'm eating something that's knowingly harmful to me, and and then I'm complaining about my problem to you. Like, isn't it difficult to be sympathetic in that case? But you should. Like, what do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do need to be honest. That's tough.
Honesty is the best policy, right?
Yeah, cliche.
Yeah, see, there's another one. There you go. Perfect. See, we're coming up with them now. Just took us a minute.
But you do have to be honest with that person. If you care that much about that person, to be honest with them. If you really care about them, and, you know, you can always give advice. Are they going to take it?
Yeah, it's a tough one on that one, even because, like, I'll give you an example. I had a friend of mine that passed way, way, way young. And he was a very heavy individual. That's not ultimately what did him in, but kind of. It didn't help. And but every time we would go out to eat, the first thing out of his mouth would be, let's say we were meeting up for lunch or dinner. He'd be like, oh, I didn't even have breakfast this morning. Like, he always had this like guilty conscience, you know. And I never cared. I just liked my friend. And hanging out with them. I didn't need an explanation. I don't need to know. I can see the evidence is clear right in front of me of what's going on.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to say much to change.
Right. So the only reason why I say like about, you know, me giving advice to someone, like, I feel like people know. Like, they usually know.
Or don't care.
Right. Or they're somehow powerless to make the change. But like me, the idea that I'm going to say the magic words to them is like, it seems pretty small. Yeah. Like, you know, oh, thanks for finally telling me. I never figured it out on my own.
Yeah, the doctors didn't even.
The other 50 people that told me that, they didn't resonate. But the way you said it, now I get it. You know what I mean? Anyway.
No, that's true. That's true. That's tough, especially if you do care about that person.
Totally. It's tough to see someone doing themselves in, you know, you see this.
Do you think some of that, like, I mean, also it depends on the situation, because it could be a hereditary thing too, that they can't stop, right? So
well, you see things like, you could see this a lot with, like, you know, like drug addiction as a prime example. All of those things where you're like, oh, you know, you so want them because you've seen them when they're at their best. Right. You so want them to get out of that funk.
Feel like you've been there before. Why can't you get right back there?
And like, you know, and like, wow, just last week alone, you made 6 decisions to make your situation even worse. Right. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. Let's go the other way then.
Sorry about my dad.
Oh, that's okay. So it's the background. But we may not even hear it. We'll see. We had this one video not that long ago. These birds like flew in where I was outside, and they were so loud. I thought we were being attacked. It was crazy.
And you didn't hear it?
No. We heard it. It ruined half the video. Anyway, okay. So let's go the other way. Do you think people really care to understand you? Like, understand understand your point of view or your opinion, or are they just like, yeah, mom's talking. Yeah, my wife's talking. Yeah, my friend's talking.
Well, okay,
you know
the husband part, yes.
Well, okay.
Yes.
That's right. That's on the actual marriage certificate, so that's not on him. Yeah. Anyways, do you think that people really care to understand you? I think
my group of friends, we all care about what we all say to each other.
Okay, so friends.
I have a great group of I feel like all of my friends throughout my life have been really exceptional. I'm very fortunate. I have lifelong friends of over 30 plus years. And then even just in the last 5 years, being over here in the West Valley, I've gotten this just huge group. It's like a tribe. It's like we all care about each other.
Just to interject for 1 second, I will say this: to have good friends means you are a good friend. That's the way the equation works. And so that's a little pat on your back there. But if you have a lot of good friends, it means you are a good friend to other people.
Like I noticed even on my 50th birthday, I went to Nashville.
Nice.
But I had like 20 friends from Arizona and California go with me to Nashville. And I didn't think, I was just thinking it was just going to be me and my husband. And everyone's like, I want to go.
Big party.
Like, okay, yeah. And my kids, I think they value my opinion. Especially my girls. I don't know about my boys. Boys are different.
We are.
But my girls, I think, definitely value my opinion. I still get the, hey, Mom, what would you do with this? And they're both moms. You know, like, hey, Mom, what about this? I
think part of the reason why I came up with that question is because I've found sometimes I'll be sitting at lunch with somebody and they start yapping. And all of a sudden I'm like, I have another conversation going on in my head. I'm like, this one's way better. Let's just chill over here for a minute. You know what I mean? And yet somehow I'm still able to respond to them like I'm listening.
Could that be a little ADHD?
Maybe a lot. You know, but I'm not the only one who does that. No, do you know what I mean? And so I'm like, it's just weird to me. Like I'm like, you know, I'll be having. Let's say I'm having a conversation. I'm even doing it to you right now. Hey, Nicola, let's have a conversation. Would you please shut up so I can say my thing? Do you know what I mean? Isn't that a thing? I know, but isn't that like a thing? You know what I mean? That's like a thing that
it is.
It's weird.
And I have done that. I'm not saying that I haven't to even a close friend, but I think they catch on sometimes. So be careful with that.
So can I tell you? It's funny. First of all, I do this plenty. Like I'm working on it. Let's just say that. But when I notice people are phasing out, I will literally say the stupidest shit. So I'll say, I'll go like, oh my gosh, my head just caught on fire from this candle that's not here. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I'll just keep going and I'll see how long I can go. And I will run it to like weird stuff. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to take this taco and shove it up, you know, and they're like what? You know, but eventually they'll catch on, but I have to it's amazing how long I can go with them still nodding and being like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I'm like, that sounds good. Really? Okay. Yeah. And anyway, it's really, okay. Maybe it's an attention issue. Okay. What's your favorite place you've ever lived or been to and why?
So I grew up in a small town.
That can't be the favorite place.
No, I'm not done talking.
This interview's over.
Right. So because I lived there forever, for 37 years, or now, 30? Yeah, I don't know. I love the valley. I love
when you say the valley,
city,
you mean
the west.
You mean
valley, Goodyear.
Okay, but we're talking about it's because the audience says Phoenix Metro.
So Phoenix Metro, where there's malls and shopping and multiple places to eat dinner.
Right. When they say the valley, they mean 5 million sprawling metropolis. And you're on the west side of that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, so you're closer to California.
I am. Okay. I'm 2 hours from the border.
Okay.
Great,
so there
which is also nice.
Okay. So your favorite place is here?
It is. I lived in Blythe for 5 years and I lived on the Colorado River.
Is that California or Arizona? Where is that?
It's the border.
So you're right on.
Cross over the river. Yeah. I lived on the river and that was amazing. And obviously I like to go visit the beach. I don't think I would want to live there though, but I do. I'm a small fish in a big bowl now, where up there, when I lived there, I was a big fish in a small bowl is what I felt like.
Yeah.
You know, I worked for chambers of commerce and stuff. And so I just felt like I kind of outgrew myself out, you know, in there. So I came down here and I'm like, hey, I got more places to
spread your wings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I do. I love it. I love it.
Okay. So.
And the heat. I got out of the snow where I lived.
Well, you got the heat here. That is for damn sure.
I love it. I know, but we have like 8 months.
July?
Okay. I don't like, I'm tired of it by August.
Because it was I think last year I read online, it was over 100 in October.
Yeah, it still was. But I'm okay with like 105. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the heat in a pool that's right there.
Okay. All right. So this may be a non-pertinent question to you, but I'll ask it anyways. If money was no object and you could bring anyone with you, where would you live?
Well, I would just want to travel. I would want to live in multiple places. I wouldn't want to stay grounded. I don't think if their money wasn't an option.
Okay,
I think I would want to.
Okay, so you would dabble.
I would go here and there and everywhere.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I would want to be stuck in one place if money wasn't an object.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, maybe a home base, which would be closer to my kids, and I have grandchildren. So.
Okay, so closer to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Even though they're probably spread out.
Yeah. My oldest is about an hour from me. My youngest is about an hour and 20 minutes from me, and then two live here.
Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so we touched on this earlier. We're down to the last couple questions, but
okay.
What do you think about our inner monologues when we start? You know, the little voice that says, "Hey, I wish this guy'd stop talking right now. I'm kind of hungry," right? Like, what do you think that is, or what do you think about that?
I don't.
You know, that inner voice that we all seem to have, or most people have. What is that?
I don't. Like your Jiminy Cricket, like your little.
Yeah, like when you're driving on the road. You know, and then all of a sudden something pops in and all of a sudden you're thinking about, I don't know, somebody that slighted you at your job 5 days ago or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. Like, what is that all about?
I don't know.
Is it distracting to you, or do you like it?
It depends on what it is that comes trickling. So I feel like our head is just like a bunch of filing cabinets, right?
Okay.
In there, and we compartmentalize, right? So I can compartmentalize. So when I'm at work, like even my voice, I think is a little different.
Wow. Okay.
Not that I'm fake, but it's just a different environment.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a different environment, and I work more with like people, right? Like customers or people getting married.
Yeah.
Or, so
got your professional face on.
Yeah. So when someone does piss me off, I have to compartmentalize that for later. So then I can do that so that later I'll think.
Okay, so that's a great little segue. So as you're driving home from that day, then the inner monologue, that inner monologue kicks in, which is the file drawer being opened.
Yeah.
Like what is like
the distraction?
Is it useful? Do you like it? Because like you know, sometimes
to work through it, I guess.
Sometimes it's nice, but sometimes like I could be on a project. Let's say I'm doing this project, and something will kick in, or even nowadays, just as I'm watching like especially nowadays, I could be watching something on Netflix. If it is boring for like a millisecond, my arm has already automatically gone to my cell phone.
Mine too. And
I'm already doing this thing like, and then maybe I'm getting some other thought in my head, and I'm like. It's very challenging sometimes to have so many things going on there.
Sometimes you can handle it too. I can watch TV and watch my phone and order stuff on Amazon and still know what's going on the TV show.
Yeah, but is it weird to you, like what does it mean like for our minds to like, okay, say you have this inner monologue come in that's talking about this thing this slight you got at work, right?
Yeah.
And then that's you, I think. And then the other you is like, do I want to think about that right now, or do I want to turn up the radio?
Right.
Like, what is that? That's so weird, right? It's like this, like, how many brains are in there?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's
bizarre.
I don't know that there's different.
Just a lot of file cabinets being opened.
Sometimes, maybe there is a little Jiminy Cricket in there, and he's like, "What's in this one today?"
I've been accused of having Disneyland in my head before,
right? So I don't know. And you're asking a woman who just went through menopause. There was a lot going. There was this going on in there all the time. I was falling asleep, and then there was like, cleaning, and then there was like, I hate you.
That sounds like a party.
There's a lot,
And maybe the next topic of our video, or next topic for a video. That sounds awesome to talk about. So
terrible.
Okay, so
menopause.
Yeah, I'm digging. Yeah, I get right down. It's jarred me for a moment, but I'm recovering.
Crazy.
Okay, last question. Or last two questions. Do you ever get deja vu or like weird occurrences?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's it like for you?
I feel like sometimes I've been there before, but now that I'm older, I feel like instead of me just saying, oh, deja vu, I feel like maybe I've done something similar to like that in my past. And so it's just kind of
so similar to your brain saying,
similar.
oh, I've done that before. I've been here before. This experience is similar.
Yeah. But I have had the feeling like I've been in that exact moment and spot before, and that's weird.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
That makes the file cabinet thing look like nothing.
Yeah, because then it kind of blanks you out for a minute. Like, wait, I have to think about this. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, last question. Do you get deja vu or weird occurrences?
I just.
Thank you for the interview, Nicci. Thank you. Perfect.